Alrighty, how's it going, y'all? How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome into another edition of the Rover Sports and some breaking news. Matthew Stafford has been released. Matthew Stafford released by the Detroit Lions, or is going to get released. And this is very interesting news because you look at Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, and these are new guys to the job. So the fact that they're already going to release a quarterback is pretty amazing that they're going to release Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, I love this move from the Lions because Matthew Stafford is a career loser. He's never won a playoff game in his life before. And you can make all the excuses you want, but this is a bottom line business in this league. And you look at Jimmy Garoppolo has 3 more playoff wins than Matthew Stafford, or 2, excuse me. So you look at Matthew Stafford, he was a decent quarterback for the Lions, but his time is up. He can go somewhere else and try to get the best out of his franchise, get the best out of his career. It's very intriguing that the Lions are deciding to do this right now because they have Dan Campbell. They have this guy, Brad Holmes, who's a new guy coming in there from L.A., who I absolutely love. I think he did a great job learning under Les Snead, learning under Wilbert Montgomery. And I'm really excited about this Lions team. And then the Lions go out there, and Dan Campbell makes Aaron Glenn his teammate. Dan Campbell makes Aaron Glenn his former teammate at the Cowboys. He makes him the defensive coordinator, and then he signs Anthony Lynn, and Anthony Lynn hasn't called plays. I mean, Anthony Lynn, when he was with the Chargers, didn't really call plays. Anthony Lynn was a running backs coach, but now Anthony Lynn is going to assume all play calling duties, so it's certainly a risk. We don't know how Anthony Lynn is going to call plays very well, but we know that Anthony Lynn understands the character of the room. We understand that Anthony Lynn is a guy that can really galvanize a locker room. I mean, he was second to Matt Nagy in Coach of the Year, and you're getting a coach with head coaching experience to help out Dan Campbell. So it's certainly a risk hiring Anthony Lynn, who hasn't called plays in a very long time, who's a running backs coach. But Anthony Lynn has great experience in the NFL, and Anthony Lynn's literally been a head coach. But it's going to be interesting to see his philosophy calling plays. I'm curious to see if the Lions are also going to bring Declan Doyle along. So the point is, Anthony Lynn's style, he likes running the football. Dan Campbell alluded to that there was talent on the offense. And you look at Detroit, it's kind of a bigger personnel group. You have T.J. Hawkinson there. You're also going to have Marvin Jones. I believe Kenny Golladay is a free agent, but you have DeAndre Swift. You still have Peterson maybe, and then you're going to have Kerryon Johnson. So you're going to have some running game. And you also look at some of the offensive linemen that are out there in Detroit. I think you might have Kelly in Detroit. I'm trying to think of the other guys that you have on that offensive line. I know Graham Glasgow went out to the Denver Broncos, but I mean, what Darrell Bevell tried to institute was really a running game. And you look at DeAndre Swift, and he really showed signs. I mean, he got hurt towards the end of the year, but DeAndre Swift can maybe be your running back. Hawkinson's really good in the passing game. I believe Kenny Galladay's probably going to walk, but you still have Marvin Jones. And I believe that you could probably get another receiver somewhere along the lines in this draft. So now that leads us to this next question. Well, one, why would they announce that right now? I believe that they're trying to do Matt Stafford a solid. There might be something in his trade clause where Matthew Stafford might have to say where he goes, because Matt Stafford, he might have the right to decide where he goes in the contract if he has a no-trade clause. So you look at the possible landing spots for Matthew Stafford, and if I were a Lions fan, I would love to trade up to the second pick to get Zach Wilson, because as an evaluator of the quarterback position, or one that tries to do so on YouTube, I believe that it's Trevor Lawrence, it's Zach Wilson, and then it's everybody else. And then Trey Lance has a chance to work, a pretty good chance to work, and Mac Jones might have a possibility to work, but likely not going to be that great. Then you look at Kyle Trask, and when you look at every quarterback class, there's usually either one quarterback that's great or two at most. And my quarterbacks are going to be Trevor Lawrence and they're going to be Zach Wilson. I think Trey Lance can potentially be that third guy that really emerges because of his arm talent, because of the way that he throws the deep ball. He is very talented tape, Trey Lance. It's just a matter, again, he hasn't played a lot of experience at North Dakota State. And again, I don't really know about Trey Lance in terms of him leading a team, because I watched Justin Fields do a spectacular job of leading Ohio State. I've watched Trevor Lawrence lead teams. I've watched Zach Wilson battle the up and downs. Trey Lance has only had 1 year worth of tape, so you are taking that risk. And then also you look at North Dakota State compared to the rest of the FCS, and they are the best team at all times. So, again, he didn't throw interceptions, but once again, if Trey Lance is very well liked by his teammates, if he is humble, if he is willing to work with teammates, and if Trey Lance will buy in to an underdog team and will be just a sponge and will absolutely show a lot of humility, then I believe that Trey Lance can absolutely be a rock star. I think it's all between the ears with Lance. I think that he has all the physical talents. It's reading the defenses, and it's working. And if he does that, and he's a special leader, because to be one of the best, you have to be an incredibly special leader. I think Trevor Lawrence and Fields have shown that side to them. Zach Wilson, again, he's going to have to prove that as well, as we learn more about Zach Wilson coming from BYU that played a weaker schedule. I think Wilson is more accurate than Lance, more talented than Trey Lance, but Trey Lance has the ability to throw on the run and make a lot of plays. I believe that Detroit, it's going to be interesting if Anthony Lynn and Dan Campbell, if they're really going to love Trey Lance and his tape. I think they might actually love it. But I would try to trade up to the second pick. Another destination for Matthew Stafford is the Indianapolis Colts, and this would require Brad Holmes, who is out in L.A. It will require Brad Holmes to really love Jacob Eason. So there are a couple options for Detroit. They could trade the quarterback, Matthew Stafford, over to Indianapolis, which is a great spot for Stafford in the Midwest. You're trading him out of conference to the Colts, and then you get back maybe a Colts pick. Maybe you try to get Quentin Nelson, although I don't think they'll ever give you Quentin Nelson. You can look at Paris Campbell, who's a pretty talented wide receiver. Michael Pittman is also a talent on that team. You look at Nyheim Hines, that could really help out Jonathan Taylor. They have a lot of talent on that team. Obviously, Leonard's an untouchable player. They have good players on the back end there. They might have some draft pick capital that you'll be able to get from them. You might be able to swap out picks. But then you look at Jacob Eason, and I believe Eason is a very intriguing player. Now, if there's any chance that the Colts view Eason as the long-term answer, then they're not probably going to go after Matthew Stafford, or they're not going to trade Jacob Eason. So it all depends what the Colts view Jacob Eason. If they've watched him in practice and think that Carson or Matt Stafford is better, then that could be some possibilities. You also look at the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins and Brian Flores has dealt with Matt Stafford a lot. I think they view Tonga Vailoa, and they're really a team that's in win now. They have Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, great defensive players. They're still trying to get that running game going, but maybe another draft class in Miami can do that. They also have an opportunity to add a big-time weapon. So Detroit can try to go from 9-3, which, again, would allow Miami to still get a really good receiver at number 9. And, again, for Detroit, the thing is about Detroit is, do they like Zach Wilson? Do they like Trey Lance? Because if they're waiting for the draft, then why would they announce this Stafford news now? Why wouldn't they just allow Matt Stafford to be dealt on draft day? That's the thing. If they want Lance or Wilson, then they should have went out there and they should have traded Stafford. They should have tried to trade Stafford on draft day to the Dolphins, to the Jets. That's what I don't understand about this whole process is why would you announce that you're trading Matthew Stafford? Why don't you just do it? Because now teams know that Stafford is disgruntled there, and now you've just ruined and tanked his trade value. Why wouldn't you want to give the impression that you're comfortable keeping Matthew Stafford? Why did you have to make this decision so hastily? Again, I'm all in favor of moving on from Stafford for the points that I just illustrated because he hasn't won there. This team's not ready to win, okay? Why keep going down the same road that you've been going down for a decade? So, but the point is, why would you announce that you're going to trade Matthew Stafford? So then do the Lions like Tonga Vailoa? Another possibility is that the Detroit Lions might really like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was down there working with Dan Campbell. Campbell knows that Winston's a competitor. I think Winston would embody Detroit very well. I think that Winston has the ability to be a good thrower of the football. The problem is with Winston is that he's completely immobile, and that's going to be a big problem. In the NFC North, Jameis Winston going up against the Packers or against a Minnesota defense, of course, even Chicago, they're going to heat Jameis up, and then Jameis is going to turn it over because he's completely immobile. So Winston has a ceiling to his game. Although Winston is a good deep ball thrower of the ball, him being immobile will cause him to turn the ball over because in the pocket, he will fumble the ball a lot. That's the thing about Winston. So Winston has learned from Drew Brees. Winston was not terrible in Tampa. You can go ahead and you could get by with a Jameis Winston. He could be decent, but he's not a Zach Wilson. Trey Lance has a higher upside. You look at Mac Jones and Mac going to Detroit, a little bit immobile as well. So you look at Tua. I think Tua is a very exciting quarterback. Tua in this Detroit offense would actually be very good with Hawkinson, very affordable contract, can do play action with DeAndre Swift, can hit guys out of the backfield. And if you get him throwing in rhythm, you look at Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer can help you out with some of these things. So I believe that Dan Campbell and maybe Dilfer can talk about those sort of deals. So it's interesting with Stafford on the move. The whole Dan Campbell press conference was phenomenal. I absolutely love Dan Campbell. I loved everything that he's bringing to Detroit. He inspires me. And again, I love that he embodies the city, that he takes on Detroit, because when that team starts to win, you look at Buffalo and how Sean McDermott and Josh Allen represent the city so well. So when these teams start to win, just like Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, when these teams start to win, it just feels that much better because, again, you want a coach that wants to be there, and you want a coach that's gonna take a city and get it back going. So overall, very interesting to see where Stafford will be headed. There is some more NFL news. Nick Sirianni going to the Philadelphia Eagles. I covered that. Sirianni's kind of a puppet for Howie Roseman. He's kind of a bland hire. Then you look at Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is out there making great hires. He hired the Louisville offensive coordinator. He hired his longtime coach at North Carolina. As long as Arthur Smith can learn how to smile and can learn how to relax, then Arthur Smith is going to have an unbelievable tenure as the coach of the Atlanta Falcons because I believe he's a great CEO. He knows how to hire. And also Arthur Smith, he knows the game of football. It's just a matter of can Arthur Smith just get along with the guys and get the guys to really play for him, and can he show a light side too? Does he know when to pull back the reins and give his guys days off? I think if he does that, he could be a big-time success. You look at Brandon Staley, who's still very young. I believe Staley will be okay, maybe even a little bit average at the NFL level. Of course, there's a chance that Brandon Staley is very good, But once again, the expectations are high. I'm not sure who Staley's going to hire for staff. He's just very, very young. He's a defensive-minded guy. Again, he does have superstar potential. I mean, he's a fast riser in this process. But again, even like McVay and Shanahan, you still have to have the players in order to be successful. Now, he does have Justin Herbert. It just depends what him and the general manager decide to do. The one thing that's interesting about Brad Holmes in Detroit is them getting rid of Stafford already. I give them credit because, again, they could have just sat and wait with Matthew Stafford, tried to be 7-9, 8-8. But I like that they're being aggressive and that they're going for it right now. Also, it could have just been Matthew Stafford, too, throwing a fit, and also them just succumbing to what Matt wants. So all of that is incredibly interesting. Robert Saleh, the Jets situation with Joe Douglas. Again, the Jets' job is just really, really tough. If they continue to keep Sam Darnold, I really think that could spell the end maybe for Saleh in like 3 years. But if the Jets do the right thing, they go out and they select Zach Wilson at number 2, that would be very special. If the Jets get Deshaun Watson, it'll maybe buy Saleh like another year because then the Jets might make the playoffs one of the years. But again, you're going up against Josh Allen. The Patriots are going to reload, and the Dolphins are in great, great shape. You look at the Jets' job kind of with these young coaches in the AFC East, it's actually a very, very tough division. This is a really tough job that Saleh has gotten involved in. The ownership with Chris and Woody is still kind of unknown. Saleh is hiring a lot of San Francisco guys. Is he picking the right guys? I'm not sure. But again, the coach that I think is going to really be a star in this process is going to be Arthur Smith. Because Arthur Smith he went to the right place in Atlanta. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Andy Reid as a former lineman, an excellent play caller, a little bit under the radar, a guy that's going to adapt. The one problem that I might have with Arthur is he just needs to show off his personality to his players, endear himself to the players, but I believe that Arthur can do that. So again, Arthur, to me, with the highest ceiling out of anybody. Then you look at Brandon Staley and Matt Campbell. Campbell, again, hiring a decent staff, but will Campbell adapt to the modern NFL? Will he have a modernized offense? Will he know what an offense looks like that's very modern? I'm rooting for Campbell. I'm rooting desperately for Campbell. He's by far my favorite coach in this coaching cycle. He's by far maybe one of my favorite coaches in the NFL with Joe Judge and John Gruden. But is Dan Campbell going to be able to make it work? Is he going to hire the right people? Is he going to select the right quarterback? Dan Campbell has some huge, huge risk potential, huge bust potential. He does in Detroit. He's absolutely a risk. And Anthony Lynn is kind of a risk. You also have Aaron Glenn. We'll see how Aaron Glenn does on his first, defensive job. So, again, that's kind of a risk. And then you look at Brandon Staley, who's a very smart guy. Can Brandon Staley be able to motivate guys, or is he going to sound too robotic like he does in the press conference? Again, I'm kind of impressed with Staley. NFL nerds and analytics guys are going to love Brandon Staley, but can he motivate? So if you put Staley, the scheme of Staley with a personality of Campbell, you'd obviously be perfect. And then you look at Robert Saleh, who seems to have a good head on his shoulders, who seems to be very deliberate in the way that he goes about things, which I really, really like. Seems to care about the players. So he seems to check every box. But again, he's going to the Jets as his first head coaching job, and he's in the toughest division with unstable ownership, a GM that he did not pick out in Joe Douglas. So this whole thing, and then if they really like Sam Darnold, it's up to Robert Saleh to really be aggressive at the quarterback position, because if they keep Sam Darnold, then they could be in for a world of hurt. I think they will be in for a world of hurt. So that's the thing that you have to consider with Saleh and with this New York Jets organization and with this ownership group. They don't really move. They don't really make great decisions. I think that Detroit is actually going out there, being more aggressive, hiring football people in the building. So that's going to remain to be seen. Then you look at the Houston Texans and their situation. They have Josh McCown coming in for an interview, Leslie Frazier. It seems like a lot of people don't really want that job. Again, it's all right that Houston's being patient. They're trying to figure out the best guy for the job. I commend them. It's fine. They're going to probably trade Watson anyway, so you got to get the best guy for the job. If that's McCown, it could be very interesting. It could really be a good hire if you're the Houston Texans. So, again, Zach Wilson, I think, is the top prize in this draft process. Trey Lance, again, we don't know about the personality. I'd be worried a little bit. Like, how well can Trey Lance lead? Is Trey Lance going to be really going to show a lot of humility going into the locker room there, or does he think that he has it all figured out coming from North Dakota State, being a national champion? Then you look at Mac Jones. Is he going to be mobile enough to play at this level and be really good? I don't think so. So in terms of Lance, Wilson, and Lawrence, those are the guys that have superstar potential in this draft class. I mean, Mac Jones would have to go into a perfect offensive system for him to ever be a star, and I don't think he has NFL star ability. None of the guys do after the first three that I mentioned. It will likely only be Wilson and Lawrence that are stars. So, and then you look at Jacob Eason, who could potentially be a star. You look at Tua Tagovailoa. These could be guys on the move in the quarterback market. You could have Jameis Winston, who's a decent quarterback, be on the move. So it's very, very interesting. Tyrod Taylor could easily reunite with Anthony Lynn and could go up to Detroit to provide depth and leadership. I mean, Tyrod Taylor did that with Baker. He did that with Justin Herbert. So all of that remains to be seen, what's going to happen. But overall, excited for the games tomorrow, and I want to thank you guys for watching the video today. All right.